Ugh. Brother, what's that?
Mashallah, brother.
Please be brutally honest. If you had a good husband, protector, provider, very good, etc., he goes and gets a second wife. Are you staying in that marriage? Please be brutally honest.
I will consider it.
Oh, you liar.
No, don't, no, you can't.
No, sorry.
The Prophet ﷺ said the believer is anything but a liar. You mean?
Listen,
We
maybe
can't.
okay,
Sorry.
I was in a position once
One
where I
second.
actually did have to consider that.
Okay.
not
May Allah
about
bless
that.
you. You are a very.
The thing
You
is,
are very rare.
Assalamu alaikum, how are you guys doing? So I have a very interesting take here from an account on TikTok called Reddit Islam. And what I'd like to ask is, have you ever heard of a young Muslimah who would prefer being a second wife off the bat? All right? I find this quite a rare find, so it would be interesting to check this out. So let's check it out.
Assalamu alaikum all. Before you read this, don't be quick to judge whatever I say, as this is my personal opinion and logic based on my experiences in life. So I am a 21-year-old female, a soon-to-be college graduate and overall pretty pious woman. I stay to myself and chill with my close friends and family. I'm not one to go out with men even if they were interested in marriage and their intentions are in the right place. I just have a lot of mental baggage and issues within myself I need to resolve before thinking of starting a family and getting married. Maybe I'm the issue? However, I'm not one to rush into a relationship, although I had many suitors and potentials which ended nowhere. I'm an attractive woman and fit. I really am not trying to talk down on myself, but men want multiple women by nature. Try to change my mind or not, I don't care. Men will always want multiple women. It doesn't matter if you're the most beautiful woman in the world or the kindest or most pious.
A 21-year-old Muslimah who, according to herself, is beautiful. She is modest. She is one who does not want to interact with men, even when men have good intentions, referring to marriage with her. She seems like she has a solid head on her shoulders. She feels, though, that she's not ready for marriage just yet. But nonetheless, she understands that with regards to men in of themselves, they are polygamous by nature. And I think for a Muslimah at her age, especially, it sounds as though if she is, I would take it she's living in the West. This is quite an astonishing take, you know. I feel like a lot of sisters would rather deny or would shun the idea that men are polygamous by nature and, like, you know, dismiss it somewhat. Whereas this sister seems to acknowledge it and understand it for what it is. Let's continue and hear further.
He'll love you and still want to have relations with other women, and sometimes this manifests as his second wife and second family. I am familiar with hearing stories of my male uncles and relatives travel back home to marry a young woman who's fitter and more attractive and younger than their wife. I don't care for their reasoning and I don't want to know why they would do it without letting their first wife know. So I want to be a second wife, and it might sound silly and strange, but I truly would be one as long as he doesn't hurt his first wife in the process. I'll forever support other women, and I wouldn't go become a second wife unless she's okay with it and at least has the knowledge of her husband seeking out a second wife. It'll be a perfect arrangement for me and my lifestyle. I don't want to be with a man every day of my life even if I love him deeply. I like my own space. I'm pursuing a medical degree, and I can sleep at night with the knowledge that I won't get cheated on. I want an intimacy and companionship, but nothing more. I don't know if I want kids, but the matter is in Allah's hands, so if I have children, no problem. He could marry a third and I wouldn't care, as long as he fulfilled my rights and the rights of his other wives, and takes care of them. I wouldn't take it personal. I think love is earned along with trust, and I believe I don't have to love a man to marry him. We just have to agree on things and have similar goals and outlooks in life. Everything else is to come, such as growth and love and all that. So Muslim Reddit, am I in the wrong for not wanting to be a first wife? My needs aren't a lot, and I have a lot of personal and career goals I want to reach, and just seeing the nature of men led me to this conclusion.
I think from a man's perspective, it sounds almost too good to be true that a woman of that age, of that type of caliber, in terms of her modesty and the way she sees, life in general, with regards to marriage, it sounds almost too good to be true. And I would take my hat off to the woman, to the girl, to the Muslimah, in the sense that she understand what it is that men generally would want out of this dynamic of marriage and love life, courtship, relationships. I think the Disney Hollywood type fairy tale dynamic is not really a man's ideal way of living life in terms of marriage and relationships and so on. So I think it's more catered to women, that happily ever after, monogamy, that type of scenario, prince princess getting together and living life happily ever after. And yeah, for generally for a man, it's not really like that. And especially I think a Muslim man who really knows his stuff, I think at most he would act upon his polygamous nature. And despite her being young and having all these perks in terms of her piety, modesty, if it happens that she do, let's say, go for or land a very pious Muslim man, and he seems to be well equipped with I don't know, wealth and the know-how, leadership, with this type of authoritative figure, then I think it would be a case where he would become polygamous, and later down the line she would have to deal with that. So I think it does make sense on her part why she would want to become a second wife. It saves her from the drama. It saves her from the this idea that it could happen or not. I'm always in the dark about it, or I'd have to go through the difficulty or the pain when it is he does reveal his intentions to me. You know, so I get it. I understand why I should be a second wife. I would actually hope that a lot of Muslims have this type of mindset, so that they save themselves from, I don't know, the difficulty of when a Muslim man does, when their husbands do or want to, even if it is that they don't reveal the intention, the fact that they know their husbands would want to do this, I think does a lot of trouble in their psychology, right? So, I mean, I think it's a good thing.
Hey, honey, they're asking, why do I have two wives?
Why one? Why do you have to have one?
Yeah, see? Why only one?
I'm a very strong advocate for men to pursue having more wives. And I think what I'm really passionate about is to dismantle this Hollywood, Disney, feminist idea of what love and romance is. And I think a lot of us, even men folk, are, attached to or have this idea about, right? And I mean, I'm not saying that within the seerah or the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ or the early Muslims, that it was completely like the stone cold way of doing things. I mean, there was romance, there was this type of courtship and almost fairy tale like interaction between themselves and their wives, but it wasn't. And I would say this strongly that it's not the Disney Hollywood idea of love and romance, where a man is almost cuckolded to his woman, and almost to the point where the woman has this complete control simply because she is this icon of love, this icon of being it's for the man to satisfy her, and she must have this complete happiness and contentment with him, and him catering for her every need and move. And this is simply not the case. Both men and women in Islam have their rights and their responsibilities. There is a wisdom behind why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted men the ability to have more wives, right? And it caters for the societal requirements. Like off the bat, I could think of the single mothers, the divorcees, widows, women who are struggling to get married for whatever reason, and simply also because there are more women in the world than there are men. So those are just some of the aspects which I think are, well, not I think, it is why polygamy exists and why Allah has allowed it to happen. So yeah, why one? Have more than one. If you are capable, if you're strong, if it is that you are ready for it, then inshallah this should happen. It should work for you. I mean, my experience is that I never ever thought I would be engaged in polygamy, but I think I kind of put my mind to it, and I saw a strategy for myself in which I had to go through dealing with my first wife and then dealing with having a second wife, molding both of them into this idea, and so on and so forth. So I think it's doable, especially in the modern era, where again all these ideas and philosophies, feminism is so rife and you know in the society as it is. So inshallah.